Now let's meet our featured speaker. A native of Michigan, Deborah Meyer was named Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer of Chrysler last August. In her position, Meyer is responsible for marketing and advertising initiatives for the Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep brands globally. In addition, she oversees all sales promotions and brand events. She also provides strategic direction for the company's marketing efforts around the world. Deborah, thank you for being with us today. Ad crafters, please welcome Deborah Meyer.
I thank you for this opportunity because it's great to finally be here in person and see what you do and hear about everything that's going on and to have the chance to be part of this community. I'm pretty excited, as you know, or some of you know, I actually grew up in Michigan. So this really brings me back to my roots. And the most amazing thing is I looked at, I had to come in the first day on the job and give the birth certificate. You know, you have to turn in your birth certificate. On that birth certificate said my dad was an employee with a plant manager at one of the Chrysler plants the day I was born. So it was like, wow, this really is coming full circle, and it feels good to be back here. Now, the other problem, though, with that is that a lot of people, like Tom Reese over there, have known me since I was this tall and have many stories which I'd rather that you did not tell anyone, if you don't mind. We'll birthday cake coming, all that stuff. Because all of a sudden, you get that, and yeah, there's a lot of history. I just wanted to say how thrilled I am to be here. And it's been really interesting, too. There's so many pieces that have brought me back to this place. My first car was a Plymouth Horizon, which I fondly named Aqualung. I'm not telling you why. Even throughout life, as we grew up with all kinds of Chrysler cars. My dad worked in the business, and I always worked in the auto industry, sort of summers and everything. But it sort of hit home to me. I have a stepson now. He's about 21. And for the last 5 years that I worked at Toyota, I kept saying, hey, how about one of these Toyota cars that we have? And he had a Jeep Grand Cherokee that he would not give up for anything that I could get. So finally, 5 years later, now I'm like, oh, wow, that's great that you have that. I love that you have that car. So a lot of people ask me, so why did I take the job at Chrysler? And I was living in California, in Newport Beach, Southern California, and everyone was like, you're going where? You're doing what? What is going on here? And I have to say, there were a lot of things going on. Toyota's making a lot of money. It was working for Lexus, luxury brand. And there was a lot of news, as we all know, a lot of news in the paper about all kinds of things going on, sort of positives, negatives. And then there's that whole Southern California thing versus winter. Winter. I haven't had a winter in like 20 years, so that's been a whole new experience for me here. So you look at all this, and I had to do a lot of types of things, and I said overall, it's really an opportunity that a lot of us don't have the chance to do. And for me, I said it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, Peter DiLorenzo is totally irritated with me for ever saying that term. So I took that and I thought, that's really interesting that he crucified me on autoextremist.com for that. So we're going to make that the theme for our December year-end event. And we call it the event of a lifetime. So I just want you to know, opportunities of a lifetime, events of a lifetime, those are great things, and we all hope that we have them and can go on and do them. Now, a lot of activity going on. We're starting a whole new year, and there's so much happening with Chrysler right now. And the reason that I came is because I actually saw sort of this opportunity and hopefully the ability to be part of something that was really important and was part of something for me going back to my roots. So if we look at what's going on, it's amazing. Chrysler, the new Chrysler, is actually the first major North American company to be privately owned in over half a century. So it's the first time that does. Now with the purchase by Cerberus, it means that there's a lot of new opportunities for the company and a lot of really positive things going forward. It's an opportunity to really re-energize and rebuild the business into a place where American global industry should be. Now, as a private company, it's been very interesting because we're really able to keep the focus on the business of the business at hand. There's not a lot of other distractions left. It goes back to the core, focusing on our dealers, on what we're doing to sell cars every day, on going minutely into it, and really rebuilding the business up into a really different place than it's been before. Decision-making now is based on the long term. We're developing the 25-year plan instead of the 10-day plan. And rather than meeting quarterly expectations, we're able to really start driving things over to the long term, which is the way this business runs the best. Of course, with all that, there's also the whole intangible side of it. And as we all know, we all make I don't know if you guys do, but you always make decisions on a very rational basis, make your lists of pros and cons and do that. And then what is it? It's that emotional part of the ad or emotional part of the message that actually really gets you and puts you over. So it's really the intangibles that sort of end up putting you over the edge. And when you think about it, Chrysler is a company with a culture and a history that's really hard to match. There's nothing like it. It's a really great American car company. It's steeped in innovation and courage and ingenuity, and it has phenomenal brands. And all this hopefully we can take and build to a place where we create loyalty beyond reason. It's really hard to turn down that kind of an opportunity. And when you look at what's about it in the car industry, we all know we drive cars, and this is the Motor City. It's all about building passionate cars, not appliances, but passionate cars that really can connect with the American dream going forward. Walter P. Chrysler has this statement saying, "I gave the public quality, beauty, speed, comfort, style, and power, all at a low price." And that's sort of the bones of where this company began, what it stands for, and where its corporate DNA is going forward. Then, of course, Dodge Brothers. And I'm sorry to go back into this, but I get so fascinated when I look at this and the picture and the profiles that sort of make up, because everyone asks me, are you going to change the brands? Like, you're coming as a new marketing person. Are you going to change the brands? And I look at the bones and the platforms and the heritage of the brands, and they're amazing. So you look at the Dodge Brothers. They were amazing. Back in the day, buyers discovered quickly that the Dodge definition of dependable meant that you would drive thousands of miles without major repairs, really relevant to today again. And that was really due to the brothers' hand-on testing of all their cars. So I love these stories. Not only did they personally drop tires from the roof of their factories to test casings, they actually, John Dodge actually would take cars and ram them into walls at 20 miles per hour just to see what would happen if some other fool did it. And so I think that was the beginning of the whole test drive scenario and where it went. I was shocked. Rain sensing wipers. Do you know I did like 3 campaigns at Toyota about rain sensing wipers and how innovative they were, and actually they were created here at Chrysler first. So, sorry about that. Learned that. So, going forward, there is a plan in place because although the industry here has been through a lot of change, a lot of redefining, a lot of restructuring, it has not been an easy year. And this year we know with the industry economy overall, there are definitely going to be some challenges, but I am incredibly optimistic, and our leadership is incredibly optimistic about what the opportunities are, how we can really get back in step with the American public and go forward and recreate and really build a business that is relevant to today and is very strong. And that's what our plan is, to do that. So we've got established, the leadership team at Chrysler has established 5 fundamentals, core business platforms and directions in order to address the short-term issues and, of course, be successful in the long run. And you'll see on the screen that's what they are. So, of course, it all starts customer first. Now, how many times have we said that? But now it's time to really deliver on that, and it's incredibly important, and I'll talk to you about a few ways that we're looking at doing that. Quality, of course, that's one of the biggest drivers, most important driver in the entire business. Being green, we know that we're here. No matter what anyone personally believes, and I personally have fights with my husband all the time about global warming, does it exist or not? I think it does, he doesn't. It is where the country's going, it's where the youth is gone, everyone's there. So it's time to also be there and be there very strong and at the forefront and really take that on as a measure. Finally, going global. For Chrysler, that's one of our biggest opportunities for growth overall, and we're putting a lot of fundamentals in place to achieve that. So now we've got a new boss, and some of you might think that it's Mr. Nardelli there, Bob Nardelli, but actually what he's been really clear about, what the whole leadership has been clear about is, no, that's not how it works anymore. Our boss really is first our dealer and our dealer networks, because they do everything, and if they're making money, then we're making money, and that's incredibly important. And then our second is our customers and all their needs, and how do we communicate with them as quickly as possible to address whatever they want and be at the forefront and do that. So Bob goes out on the test track and drives cars and makes decisions incredibly quickly with the rest of the leadership team, all to try to respond to whatever our customers are saying immediately. His best line, which I try to repeat all the time because I love it, is a fast yes or a fast no, never a slow maybe. And that's kind of the way we're doing business these days. So Well, how are we going to tell Chrysler's story? We've got to leverage that heritage, going through a clear marketing transformation, an industry transformation, consumer transformation overall, and we've got to challenge the perceptions, and we've also got to challenge our partners who are in here, who have been so good to the business all these years, challenge ourselves all together about how do we address that in different new ways going forward so that we can really get in lockstep with the customer again and move quickly forward. So it's a new day for us at Chrysler, and it's also a new day for the environment that we're all operating in collectively, being as part of the marketing or the craft of advertising communication. All right, so if you look at that, does anyone have an idea what the common thread is with all these people? First of all, they were all complete game changers, and they really grasped the importance of narrowcast networking and micro-connecting and have amazingly benefited from it lately. It's incredible. So the first one is Ron Paul. He made over $4 million in 24 hours in a big fundraising drive on the internet, whichever a lot of people were like, who is Ron Paul? What can he do? He had no money. Went on it, used that, raised $4 million in 24 hours. Incredible. Allowed him to at least get put on the map for a little longer. Next, if you look at this, Colby Kaye. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with her, I brought a video because I've just looked. It's amazing, and let's look at the video, and then we'll talk a little bit about what she's been doing. I love that video. So she spent probably 4 months on MySpace as the site's most played unsigned artist. And she hit a huge high. She has over 22 million people have downloaded her song. She's got 200,000 friends. You saw my page. I have a lot of work to do to get even close to her friend list. Shows you what you can do. So she has 200,000 friends, 22 million plays, and she doubled. And she chose, of course, consciously to launch herself. She's actually from a pretty big producing family. Her father produced. Who was it for? It was for Fleetwood Mac. So it's not like she wasn't part of the music industry. So anyway, I just thought that was fascinating, and how quickly she went on to become a major signed artist very quickly. Now, here's another good one, the guy with the hat on. His name is Sam McGuffey. Do you know Sam McGuffey? Such a cool story. We have a little clip on Sam. Let's look at that. Now, how cool is that? So for those of you not tuned into college football, this is a high school football player who was his YouTube tape that alerted college recruiters across the country to how good he is. That was one of the videos that he had of himself put up on YouTube to do his own recruiting. And the recruiters came in with offers from all those schools, and we're really pleased and proud that he's going to be playing for Michigan. Isn't that great? What a great story about that, how you can go from all levels. And then, of course, you just see the battle raging right now with Blockbuster and Netflix, and who's going to win that titanic battle? I'm sure, I don't know, I still use both. I don't know what you guys are doing, but there's a nice price war going on that, so we're all benefiting from DVD rental, but of course the battleground's shifting completely from that to something else. So you look at this, these guys are really using all the new technology for that narrowcast networking and micro-connecting, and it's so powerful and it can move so quickly. So it certainly provides a basis for where we want to go, which allows me, I hope you'll permit me to do a shameless plug for Jeep and social networking. So we're looking at all this, and I'm sure a lot of you are involved in this, but as we look at it, what we've been doing is sort of a basis and piece of it. On Facebook, Jeep has over 40,000 friends. On YouTube, we've got over 64,000 channel views. Flickr, 161,000 people have uploaded photos, and they've been viewed over 1 million times by different people. And all of that's sort of been going on just by having the opportunity out there. You can also see it at havefunouthere.com. Really interesting base for us for these core iconic brands about where they can go and how people are really finding the information about them and going on to them. Challenger. Social networking, we're really excited about this. It's you're talking about passionate, fun, driving cars. Challenger's back, and it's really exciting. It's getting a lot. So we just put this up, and it's, of course, having huge viral appeal. And its enthusiasts and young people are anxiously awaiting for this. Over 50,000 hand raisers, and there's been millions of visitors, not only to the websites, but also on some of the viral initiatives that we've quietly launched with the social networks. MySpace, Yahoo as a branded experience, YouTube, Flickr, all kinds of things going on, all with absolutely no promotion from our side. So again, this whole idea of how micro-connecting is going on is building so quickly and so fast that it really shows how quickly we need to change. When we look at the Chrysler 300, an example there too, this is something we launched the social networking contest just January 1st. And then again, in just 10 days, over 50,000 people have visited. They found the site. They've gone onto Chrysler 300's YouTube channel. They've watched the video more than 200,000 times. And visitors are welcomed by a call to action from our very favorite designer, Ralph Gilles, who is really fun and, of course, a real proponent of this sort of design and customizing. So I brought a little video for you of what Ralph has to say. So that was a nice combination of some online stuff that we put that commercial on TV, and then a lot of people have found us already. Again, for 50,000 people since January 1st, I think that's a lot of people interested in submitting videos and their own customization. So again, we're seeing that micro-connecting, the social networking, narrowcast networking really happening in all these different ways that's clearly moving very quickly. Which leads me to this. This is a great quote we found, because I think that it really has an impact for us on the type and how we're all thinking about marketing today. But you look at Eric Clapton, who says, the music scene today is a little different from when I was growing up. And while marketing and distribution are in the middle of a huge shift, and we all know we're seeing that happen a lot, this is what he says at the end: but music will always find its way to us. And sort of that, with all this new technology and where the broadcasting and narrowcasting is going, that's sort of what we're following now as a philosophy going forward. So here's our marketing action plan for Chrysler going forward. We're excited about the possibilities. You all know that we've been through a very rough year on all sides. We had a lot of restructuring internally that we had to go through. Our agencies, who have been amazing partners and who are doing the best work they've ever done, have also had to go through a lot of that restructuring with us. And it is never easy, and it is never what any of us want to do, but the business and the size of the company and everything has changed dramatically. And that's what we have to do, because we want to still be here. We want to be a vital and strong part of the industry of Michigan and Detroit and everything going forward, and that's the way we have to do it all together. So we're working hard to do that, because we believe fundamentally that this is a great time of opportunity. There is a lot going on. The business will stay strong. Cars are at the passionate point of everything, and we can do it, and we know exactly how to do it. We're going to do that a couple of ways. We're going to change completely the way that we dialogue with customers, the conversation that we had with them, because they've really said, hey, we want something else, and you need to deliver it to us. And that's what we're doing. We're moving faster than anyone in the industry can to be able to deliver that. We're listening, and we're going to prove it to people, because that's the way we get trust back. Second part we're looking at targets are out. The idea of having one or two ideal targets are out. Individual customers are in. I was just talking to someone who ran one of the campaigns recently, the political campaigns. They had 64 targets in one state alone, with unique messaging strategies for each of those targets. And that, with all, again, what we're seeing in all these places, that is exactly where we're going and what the baseline approach has to be, because that's what customers are expecting for now. We're going granular. So we're doing that with a lot of micro-connecting all the way down into the communities with very regionally based plans, focusing on core markets where there's good opportunity, and developing the plan all the way down. So it's not just a national take anymore, but all the way very, very granular on all pieces of it. Optimization in all sides of the business, in the way we do things, the way we look at things, the way we're structured. Every dollar has to count, which brings me to the last point about those core metrics. We talked about it, all the marketing things we talked about it, but the idea about we can't not know where every dollar is valuable anymore. It's just not an option any longer. So that has to be a part of the core business that we're going through and how we're going to proceed going forward. And all that, I think, will enable us to really listen closely, react very quickly to what our customers want, and be at the forefront and make huge strides in a very short period of time. So the game is on. We appreciate everything that anyone in this room has done for us as partners. We know you've been with us through thick and thin, many of you here, and it is really appreciated. And we really need your help to go forward and to keep going and to be vital and to stay really strong. And I think together, as we all work through all these tough times, that we can do that and make it a big success. Thank you very much for your time today.
Deborah, this is the classic AdCraft plaque.
Wow.
logos of the most prominent corporations here in Detroit, and Chrysler is prominently in there. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.